How's it going? Willow here. Literally just chilling in the back of my car in a parking lot right now, so hopefully there's not too many distractions going on in the background. I just wanted to take a moment to talk about how I became vegan, which was over 2 years ago now. Let's see, it's 2018, so that was in 2016. It was in about March, I believe, when I started. It's May now, so yeah, 2 years, a couple months. How it happened was totally unintentional, I remember. It started, I had heard all about the terrible things that dairy can do to you and your body. I think maybe from watching Forks Over Knives and just doing my own research. So I remember I just wanted to see if I could go without it for a while and if it made a difference. I always thought I could never completely give up cheese because that was like a big thing that I always loved, was all different kinds of cheese, fancy different cheeses. So I thought even if I couldn't totally give up everything, and I was never really a big meat eater in the first place. I would eat chicken, and I had just recently started getting into fish at that point, but it still kind of grossed me out in some ways. But never really a big red meat eater ever, unless it was ground up, ground beef and whatever. So that wasn't really any difficulty. I didn't even eat it much in the first place. But dairy, I always thought I could never give up cheese. Milk, I had tried soy and almond, and I was fine with all of that before. My mom was lactose intolerant for a while until she got over it somehow. I don't know. And obviously from being with Jamie, who's been a vegan much longer than me, I'm used to all those different things. So that wasn't an issue. What was really getting me was the cheese. So I thought if I could at least go without everything else, then if I occasionally had cheese, it wouldn't be that bad. And it was really just a test in the first place. So I went a couple of days without having any milk, cheese, ice cream, anything of the sort. And then also included in that, not eating any meat, because I by that point I really wasn't eating much of any kind of meat anyway, because anytime I go out to eat or get food, I'm with Jamie, and it doesn't matter to me if it's plant, vegetable protein or not, like Gardein chicken and Boca burgers, any of those things. Gardein, amazing, by the way, with everything they got. The chicken tenders, the fish sticks, everything they make is great. So for a couple of days, I went without any of that stuff, and I think it had to be by the third day, and I wasn't even really thinking about it. I just kind of wanted to try it out, so I just kind of ignored the stuff for a couple of days. Never thought I would follow through with anything. I know I keep digressing, just trying to kind of build this story as it goes. I didn't plan anything here to say. Anyway, getting back. Day 3, I remember feeling absolutely different. Everything about my digestive system just felt calmer in no specific way, just all around, just less going on. I don't know. And this is the part that was weird, and what really convinced me is that I felt less inflamed. My skin just felt less, I don't know, swollen, I had just been living my entire life wrong. I just felt I was feeling my arms, and I was they're always puffy in a weird way that I never thought about. But my skin just felt lighter. Does that make sense? It seems ridiculous, but I was so convinced of that at the time that I was how am I just gonna go back now? I mean, maybe go back and look at pictures from before March 2016 and let me know if you see a difference in me. And what got me into the idea in the first place was watching a couple of those awful documentaries. I knew all the stuff that was the terrible things going on in the industry. But I think it was also seeing this, I think it was in Forks Over Knives, and then doing my own research about it, that they say consuming dairy, though it has a lot of calcium, it creates like an acidic state in the body, which leaches calcium out of your bones, weakening them, and that people who ate or consumed a lot of dairy when they were younger were more likely to develop bone problems later on in life. So like all that stuff was just a big lie, and the FDA gets paid off by like the dairy and meat industries, and that's why it's all still recommended to eat, and all like proven carcinogenic foods, then things that cause cancer, like processed meats and whatever, and how like stopping eating them is not like listed often as a way to prevent cancer, even though it seems to be that way. Just kind of really weirded me out. And I mean, at the time I looked up all of this stuff and wanted to make sure it was all like adding up, see if there was any nutrients I was going to be missing or that I had to watch out for. I did all this research, and if you look up vegan on like, I think Wikipedia, the US, Canada, and I want to say UK, like departments of health all say that a vegan diet is absolutely sustainable, that you're not missing out on anything vital. Like it doesn't have to be a temporary thing. You're perfectly fine living that way forever without deficiencies. Obviously, as long as you kind of eat balanced and do a little research on it, make sure you're getting everything you need. But anyway, back to the cheese. So I always thought I wouldn't be able to give it up because that was just such a big thing to me. When I knew I was going to be able to follow through with it was when I had Chao cheese, CHAO. That brand of vegan cheese was so spot on to me that I immediately saw hope in the vegan cheese industry and being able to come up with great tasting things. I was convinced, and there's great vegan ice creams out there that I've been having, thanks to Jamie mostly. She's the one who popped the idea into my head in the first place, obviously. Ben & Jerry's non-dairy ice creams, just as good, excellent flavors, no issue there. And about milk, you can't have one brand or one type of nut milk and then not like it and say like, it's not, I can't do it, I need the real thing. Because there's so many different kinds, like the industry of vegan foods and the vegan foods that replicate non-vegan foods. It's such a young industry, I feel, that there's all these different kind of branches of each thing, and you have to try, different kinds, different brands of almond milk. Some are gonna do it for you, some don't. Some of them I prefer, some of them are like kind of like, this is watery, doesn't do anything for me. So I feel like if you try just the one that doesn't really do it for you, or it's like a cheaper kind, I don't know, like you can't base it off of that. You need to check out your different options there. And the same thing with vegan chicken, Gardein, Boca. There's so many different brands at this point. You really gotta search to find one that works for you. So anyway, more about the story. So after that 3 days, I was like, wow, I'd never want to go back to how it was before. It's like realizing I had been sick my whole life or something. I know that seems like an exaggeration, but the way I felt was just totally different to what I was used to. Just like everything felt cleaner, like internally and even like with my skin and everything. It's like I was like finally balanced. Like I just hit like an equilibrium at that point. I know it sounds corny and ridiculous. So after that point I was going strong, like, and it helped obviously having support of Jamie, who was an expert in the field at that point. A really tough thing to get over was ordering vegan food like with friends for the first time, and like just in public, and like being a little nitpicky about it. Like you go to the same place, get burritos with your friends like every week, and then suddenly you start ordering it with tofu, no cheese, and then just dealing with that reaction the first couple of times, like, oh, look at this guy, as friends will do to each other, just grill you a little bit for every little thing you do. But it's all cool now. So that was fine. The adjustment from there on was fine. You have to, if there's something you're really craving, you have to find, you know, the ways that you can get it. Like vegan mozzarella sticks, not the easiest thing to find. They're out there, plenty of places, maybe not too close to you, maybe they are. Maybe you have to make them yourself, find a way. But if that's what you're really craving, it's easy to do if you care enough. Or, you know, just simple things that kind of satisfy the craving in a similar way, like fried zucchini sticks or something. So that was all fine. What really set it in stone had to be a year into it. Jamie and I visited the Woodstock Farm Sanctuary as a wonderful place where they take in farmed animals and rescue them, and they go live wonderful lives without a care. We visited them at a June Jamboree thing they were having. Just a fun day. You kind of walk around, meet some of the animals. They had great vegan food there, some food trucks. Cinnamon Snail was there, a bunch of places that were selling desserts. But visiting that place and seeing all of the animals there, meeting some very friendly cows, pigs, chickens, goats, really set it in stone, like, wow, this is so f***ed up, this whole industry. It totally doesn't need to exist. There's no reason for it. All these animals have their own personalities, their own desire to live, have fun. While we were there, we saw the most content and satisfied, carefree pig I have ever seen in my life, laying in some mud, not a care in the world, just clearly like fully satisfied with life, and realizing like, wow, they all have a desire to just lead a peaceful life, and they're also intelligent, and it's just like so f***ed up that there's this whole industry where billions of them are just getting raised to be killed and eaten, like, for no reason. Like, it doesn't need to happen. You don't need it at all. More greenhouse gases are caused by, like, cattle and the meat farming industry than all the cars on the road combined. It's killing the planet. It uses so much land to raise the animals, grow the crops that they have to eat. So it's just adding to deforestation and just creating, the entire industry is just creating these cruel, awful people that have to do those jobs, torment the animals, kill them, and it just makes for just sick, awful humans in the process. and just being numb to it and buying the food and eating it with the total disconnect, no sense of compassion at all. Did you know that animal abuse is actually a huge red flag for identifying like a serial killer, apparently, or just murderer? Because they, I guess, just become numb to it. They just practice on animals, and then awful industry. So yeah, that's it. That's the story. That's how, that's why I became a vegan. Been going over 2 years strong now. No regrets at all. Not missing out on anything at all. No, I don't miss it. No, I don't get any cravings. It's not food to me anymore. It's like, it's just sick to me. I don't miss it. I don't have any cravings. I'm enjoying food now more than ever. Much more into cooking. Much more into traveling and finding good food in different locations. Once you get going with it, you do research, you find out like what things are and aren't vegan. You just remember them over time. You don't have to look up as much stuff. You get better and better at skimming ingredients. I just know I eat Chipotle all the time. I eat Taco Bell all the time. I don't even have to like look up anymore like what I can and can't have. You just remember it because you just, from doing it enough times, and it's just stuff that you eat. And by far most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. One of the greatest things to ever happen to me. No, I'm not ever going to stop. It's not like a diet. It's not like a thing I'm doing. It's just like literally the way I live from now on. That's it. Hopefully that provides some useful information. If you've thought about going vegan, hopefully this can be used as a guide of showing you that it's not a scary thing. I recommend you do your research. Feel free to check out some of those documentaries you could find on Netflix, but make sure you do your own research. I know people are very skeptical about some of the facts in there. That's fine, because it at least sparks a conversation about it. Feel free to contact me about anything, any questions like that. You can always leave a comment. Yeah, that's it. It's not a boring life. It's not a bland life. Oreos, sweet, spicy, chili Doritos, Ben & Jerry's non-dairy, Taco Bell, Gardein chicken tenders, more and more stuff every day. Beyond Burgers, delicious, Chow cheese. You're not missing out on anything. Highly recommend. That's it. Thank you for watching. Go vegan for your health. Go vegan to save the planet. Go vegan to be a compassionate human being. Save the animals. A world of horrible, horrible despair and a loveless life, and just make the world a better and more compassionate place. Thanks.